Hey, good morning. We're back. So I just got out of a meeting with my buddy. So we definitely had the right angle with the cognitive stuff we were talking about last night. So he just wants me just to go into a little bit more detail when I actually do the script and obviously cite my sources as usual. And using an academic book would actually help out in this situation. So we'll do that. I actually just got up to. I had to go see the after effects of that big massive storm that we had, and it's thank God my house did not get damaged, but the outside world, sheesh, the outside world is cooked right now. But we're doing this early just so I can actually get that actually written down. The idea is still fresh in my mind, so we're just gonna get into it. I'm not gonna dilly-dally that much. Besides that, yeah, we're pretty much good to go. Let's just get that started. Today's gonna be pretty straightforward. Oh yeah, happy before I forget, but yeah, I just literally just got up, so get this party started and we'll go from there. My plans for today are work on this, work on the audio for Golden Sun, continue Battler's thing, then just switch off between the two. Okay, so we're talking about cognitive tunneling, so let me see. Cognitive tunneling. Cognitive tunneling. We went over a lot of ideas though, so I'll do this and we'll go from there. Thing is, I had the right idea, but this is fine. Like he said, this is fine. Just use an academic resource later for my reference, so it's fine. So we talked about emotional dimension, and he told me to actually go on go into these about psychological level of this, so it's cool. So let's talk about emotional dimension. Give me 1 second. He's the emotional. He's the emotional dimension. Running. All right. Fears avoidance. So we don't. I still haven't decided if I'm gonna do the movie tie-in yet. Like I'm really debating whether or not I should do it, but as I think I should do the tie-ins just for the more advanced subject matter. But this one, it really doesn't matter if I don't use it because it's pretty straightforward for the most part. Pretty sure people get why running is a thing. We don't, but we'll see. We don't run from monsters. Our enemies. So, when we run, especially from monsters, what do the monsters represent? There's a lot of things that the monsters represent. For example, loss of control. You losing control of the situation. They represent trauma. They represent pain. There's a lot of things that monsters represent, but we'll use only 3 of them. Loss of control. Because we as people always want to be in control. Loss of control. Creeping insanity. Is it really? Is it like? What's going on? Like, is it really actually there? Like, am I just going insane, or am I just imagining it? Creeping insanity, and it's currently 5:45 back at my duty station. This is when I get up. I still haven't got used to this time. I'm going back in 11 days. All right, creeping insanity. Trauma that threatens to consume us. That threatens to consume us. That threatens to consume us. So in a sense, running becomes an act of denial. Running becomes an act of denial. Because when we're running away from, like, we'll just say like a serial killer or a monster, we're refusing to face the horror directly. Yeah, that sounds good. That's good. Running becomes an act of denial. A refusal. The horror directly. Or horror directly. Running becomes an act of denial. A refusal to face the horror directly. Fragmented survival. So it's regression in a sense. Excuse me. As usual, I think aloud, so just don't mind me if I'm just yapping to myself. It is not courage. Regression. Regression. I'm gonna be a little sassy today. Silent scream against the inevitable. The inevitable unraveling of self. I can actually spell right now. Inevitable. The inevitable unraveling self. Okay, so let's see what we have right now. So running is more than a mere act. It is woven into the very fabric of human survival and psychology, rooted in deep evolutionary impulse. When faced with danger, the body and brain react in a cascade of responses designed to save life in the most direct way possible. This primal reflex, the flight response, is encoded into our brainstem, predating conscious thought, reasoning, and even fear itself. It is the rawest form of survival, a split-second decision to move away from harm before the mind can comprehend the threat. Yet in horror games, running is stripped of its empowering veneer. It's stripped of its empowering veneer. It becomes something more sinister, a symbol of desperation, confusion, and entrapment. Biologically, running engages hormones such as adrenaline and cortisol that flood the body with energy, sharpen senses, but simultaneously erode fine motor. I should have put function, but control is fine to use here. Because, like I was giving the example yesterday, like when you're running, like you develop tunnel vision, like your main priority is getting out of that specific threat. So you're not thinking rationally for the most part. But simultaneously erode fine motor control and clarity. Your heartbeat pounds, lungs burn, and muscles ache, but your limbs obey a mind hijacked by urgency. This psychological response is not selective or controlled. It's automatic, brutal, and unforgiving. Cognitively, running in horror games operates as an override. The brain's functions such as planning, rationality are muted and replaced by tunnel vision. Logical choices become impossible as decisions are made in fragments, which I touched base with this yesterday because my last horror video we did Friday the 13th, the final chapter, as a reference. So in the penultimate chase sequence with Trish and Jason, well, more so just Trish running away from the situation, there was ample opportunities for her to actually just get out of the house, but due to the stress of the situation, her seeing everybody dead, her thinking rationally was just thrown out the window. She opened the front door, saw one of the twins' corpses on the ground. She can just go right over the corpse and just continue running out of the house, but the situation's so intense that she wasn't thinking straight. So instead of going over the corpse, she ran right back into that house in order to find another exit, which is stupid. It's like, just go over the corpse, like you're good. Like the corpse is not an invincible wall. It's not a video game invincible wall. Like you can just go over the corpse. He goes back inside the house, opens another door, a side exit. There's a body crucified that's preventing her exit when it's really not. She can just go right under the corpse, but again, logic is thrown out the window. So she grabs a chair and breaks through a window that's right next to the door and just climbs out, which she didn't need to do that. She normally, under normal circumstances, just go over the corpse, the initial corpse that she saw, but granted the situation, no. All rational thing just went out the window there. So logical choices become impossible as decisions are made in fragments, as I just explained right now. Players experience what psychologists call cognitive tunneling, which I've confirmed I was right in my definition last night, where perception shrinks the immediate threat, and broader context vanishes. Is as if the brain is under siege, locked in loops of impulse and panic, where action feels both urgent and futile. This leads to This leads to the emotional dimension of running, fear as avoidance. We don't run for monsters or enemies. We run for what the monsters represent. Loss of control, creeping insanity, trauma that threatens to consume us. Running becomes an act of denial, a refusal to face the horror directly, a retreat into fragmented survival. It is not courage, but regression, a silent scream against the inevitable unraveling of self. So this can lead into the psychological aspect of this. That's actually a really good example, like especially in horror films where Sidney Prescott pretty much called this out in Scream. It's like there's a perfectly the girl, there's a perfectly, and this is not verbatim, by the way, it's been a while since I watched Scream 1, but the girl has a perfectly fine front exit, but she decides to run upstairs. And I mean, she's not wrong, but she's really not wrong, but throw out all logic in a situation like that. Okay, so we need to talk about this on a psychological level. So all right. As usual, I am a morning person, but it takes me like a few minutes to actually just get up. I'm still like a little bit drowsy right now. Actual logical level. As soon as caffeine gets into my system, I'm good, but it's taking a bit today. Running in. It's paradoxical in a sense. Yeah, paradoxical. Paradoxical. Just hear me out. So movement. Movement usually signifies movement usually signifies, I cannot spell it right now. Movement usually signifies progress. Escape and freedom. Here. I'm not looking at my keyboard. I'm just trying to do it off of muscle memory. Every footstep carries every footstep. that's good. So, in a sense... Pass. On themselves. Doors. Just. It's mazes. Okay. I'm just being descriptive here. Like it's not tied to any like specific game. Just adding a little fluff here. Like adding fluff is not so bad. Proceeds endlessly. Okay. Yeah, right. Like I said earlier, I am allowed to be a little bit sassy here, so trying to think of something. All right, let's do this. Okay, I guess I'm just whiffing shift right now. Running is not progress. It is inertia. Oh boy, I'm being cute today. I'm being very cute. It's too fucking early for that, but yeah, I'm being cute. In a and I cannot spell inertia right now. It's I-N-E-R-T-C. Yeah, there we go. Inertia. Running is not progress, it is inertia. So in a sense, it's kind of... You're being punished for having agency. Yeah, there we go, yeah. Oh man. I'm gonna have a field day doubling this one. Like, yeah, everything involves agency these days. It is punishment disguised as agency. Because the more you move, the more the mind coils around you. How long is this right now? It's not that bad. Yeah, that's not that bad. Okay, we can start wrapping up this little section. Yeah, I think we're good. Okay, so this video will explore these hyperdimensions. Again, sorry, I'm being cute again. This video will explore these dimensions in detail. Not when I'm dead tired, that's for sure. When I get back to my duty station, it would be a little bit better. I'm so like wired into waking up like right now to go on to do PT, but it's technically 8 o'clock in the morning back home. I'm 2 hours behind this normal time. So right now it just hit 6 o'clock. But as mentioned, I'm a morning person, but not It takes me a bit just to like get like moving about. This. All right, so this video will explore these dimensions in detail, illuminating how horror games weaponized running. Weaponized running. Okay. Because turning the most basic survival instinct to suffering. Turning the most basic yeah, we can get that to work. A survival instinct into a profound experience of suffering. That sounds good. That sounds good. Profound experience of suffering. Suffering. All right. So, like as usual, we'll be doing 3 case studies. I may or may not do an analysis with this one. But again, we'll cross that bridge when we cross that bridge. Let's just get the bulk of this done first. I'll be taking a break shortly because I probably should go have breakfast. I just woke up and just came right into this. Talked to my buddy. I'm like, and we talked for like a few minutes, and I'm like, yeah, just do this and do that. I'm like, all right, cool. Let me just go upstairs and go do this real quick. And I stepped outside, and there was down trees everywhere, and I'm like, yeah, I have privacy trees. I don't have to worry about big, massive trees crashing on my damn cars or house. Okay, okay, we found experience of suffering. Okay. Through do 3 case studies. Yeah, that's good. Helplessness. All right. Let me just do it. Let me do a transitionary sentence so we can lead on to the next sections. And again, this is gonna be a relatively short one. I'm gonna come back later because it's really cool today. But I need to first of all go freshen up because I look like absolute shit. But I need to actually get this out of the way. I brought my dog outside. He's chilling, but let me go take care of my daily essentials like eating, working out. I'll come back. I'll do a little bit of Battler. I'll work on Golden Sun because I'm still doing the audio for that. Then I'll come back and I'll do this again. So we'll alternate between the 3 tasks because that's the 3 projects I'm working on right now. Before I leave, again, I have like 11 days left before I have to go back to work. We'll have one more video definitely out before I get back. Then we'll go back to our normal ass schedule. Again, as usual, I do take requests, but this one technically isn't a request. This is just me doing my own thing. But the request now, besides Golden Sun, because that's a long term puzzle, because that's a long term project, because that's a whole entire JRPG that I'm trying to fix the lore on. Well, yeah, so that's gonna take a while to get done, and we're taking that bit section by section. The only request I'm actually doing besides that one is the Human Echo one. After this, I'll probably do... I'm doing a lore files. I'm gonna do another Metroid one. No one responded to the Metroid one, the question I asked. I'm like, okay, I'll just find out. I'll figure out something to do about Metroid. But that we'll cross that bridge when we cross that bridge. But that's the 3 projects we're working on. This, Battler, and obviously Golden Sun on the side. So running in horror. And this is, I'm just gonna be writing a transitionary sentence to go into the next section. Then we'll read through this, then we'll wrap it up for now. Running in horror is not just a mechanic. Not just a mechanic. It is mediation. And as usual, I cannot spell. It is mediation on powerlessness. Hey, didn't we do a video on this not too long ago? Yes, we did. A ritual of panic. And a haunting mirror reflecting on our deepest vulnerabilities. That sounds good. On our deepest vulnerabilities. Reflecting on our deepest abilities. I totally butchered that, but that's fine. Vulnerabilities. So it is a desperate act. It is a desperate act of being caught between render forever. I'm gonna do a funny real quick because I think this will work. Forever in the... I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do the funny in a liminal space. Oh man, liminal spaces are funny. I understand what people would that, and I understand the fixation because I do get nostalgia from certain like things, but that's again just a gigantic rabbit hole. Liminal space where freedom slips away. Freedom slips away, step by step. Okay, so that's good. So that's a good transitionary sentence. Steps away. Freedom slips away, step by step, and that'll lead into the next section. And if I remember correctly, before I start reading this section, yeah, this was section 0. What running was, if I, going off the outline. So section 1 is flight or flight. So we'll do that later. But let's read what we have right now. Running is more than a mere act. It is woven into the very fabric of human survival and psychology, rooted in deep evolutionary impulse. When faced with danger, the body and brain react in a cascade of responses designed to save life in the most direct way possible. This primal reflex, the flight response, is encoding in our brain system. I'm gonna put 2 there because I know I'm gonna say into a lot. It is encoded into our brainstem, predating conscious thought, reason, and even fear itself. It is the rawest form of survival, a split-second decision to move away from harm before the mind can comprehend the threat. Yet in horror games, running is stripped of its empowering veneer. Running is stripped of its empowering veneer. That's the second time I said endearing. It becomes something more sinister, a symbol of desperation, confusion, and entrapment. Biologically, running engages hormones such as adrenaline and cortisol that flood the body with energy, sharpen senses, but simultaneously erode fine motor control and clarity. Your heartbeat pounds, your lungs burn, and muscles ache, but your limbs obey a mind hijacked by urgency. The psychological response is not selective or controlled. It's automatic, brutal, and unforgiving. Cognitively, running in horror games operates as an override. The brain's functions, such as planning, rationality, are muted, replaced by tunnel vision. Logical choices become impossible as decisions are made in fragments. Players experience what psychologists call cognitive tunneling. Where perception shrinks, it shrinks to the immediate threat, and a broader context vanishes. It is as if the brain is under siege, locked in loops of impulse and panic, where each action feels both urgent and futile. This leads to the emotional dimension of running, fear as avoidance. We don't run from monsters or enemies, we run from what the monsters represent. Loss of control, creeping insanity, trauma that threatens us. Running becomes an act of denial, a refusal to face the horror directly, a retreat into fragments of survival. It is not courage, but regression. A silent scream against the inevitable unraveling of self. A silent scream against the inevitable unraveling of self. On a psychological level, running in horror games is paradoxical. Movement usually signifies progress, escape, and freedom, but here every footstep carries the weight of futility. The paths we sprint down loop back on themselves. Corridors twist into mazes, and the horizon recedes endlessly. Running is not progress, it is inertia. I was being cute there. It is punishment disguised as agency. The more you flee, the more the mind coils around you. This video will explore these dimensions in detail. Always proofread your stuff. The more you flee, the more the mind coils around you. This video will explore these dimensions in detail, illuminating how horror games weaponize running, turning the most basic survival instinct into a profound experience of suffering. Through 3 case studies, we will see how running fractures the mind, body, and soul, pulling players into an endless loop between hope and hopelessness. Running in horror is not just a mechanic, it is a mediation on powerlessness, a ritual of panic, and a haunting mirror reflecting our deepest vulnerabilities. It is a desperate act of being caught between flight and surrender, caught forever in the liminal space where freedom slips away step by step. Okay, yeah, that's actually pretty good. I like the way this is. We gave a good, in-depth, lengthy explanation on running. The next time you run from something, look back on this. So that random ass YouTube lore guy went into extreme detail about running. Oh, I love it. Okay. Anyways, I gotta go have some breakfast. So later, I'll come back in a little bit. I'll do Battler's thing. Then I'll work on Golden Sun audio on the side. I'll come back and double back with this. Anyways, good shit. I'll see people later. Bye bye.